Hello, everyone. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. If you're back at it, welcome back. My name is Mason Val. I really want to thank you guys if you've been listening to these stories that I've been bringing you. For the month of January, I want to bring you urban legends, ghost stories from Japan. These are some of my favorite that I've heard over the years, and I keep finding new ones that are pretty out there and spooky. So, with today's story, I want you to imagine that you're walking onto the train station. Say you got to get to the Muni or to the BART, or you're walking towards the red line, or you're just getting on the subway after a long day, and you hear what sounds like hands slapping the concrete behind you. So you turn around, but when you turn around, there's nothing there. And you think to yourself, that's a little odd, but you keep pushing. And as you're walking towards the station, you hear it again. You start thinking to yourself, what is that? But this time it sounds like it's getting closer and closer and closer. So you turn around real quick, and there's nothing there. You do a 360 of everything, and you don't see anything. You don't see anybody. The train station is dead. It's quiet, but it's eerie because the silence makes it a little spooky. So you turn back around, and you see that the train is approaching. You see the headlight of it, the horn that it honks sometimes when it's getting close. The announcement goes off that the train is arriving. So you're relieved that whatever that noise is it stopped. You take one step and you hear it again. So now you're freaking out because the two times that you turned around, there was nothing there. And it keeps getting closer and closer and closer. So you start running. And you see that the train doors, they open up. So as you're running, you launch yourself in. You throw yourself into the train. But when you do that, you feel a pinch on your stomach. And you're wondering what that was. But you hit the ground. Boom, you hit the train floor. You slide. And then next thing you know, you feel safe. You're on the train now. The slapping on the concrete, the noise has stopped. So you try to get up, but you look down and there's a puddle of blood around you. And to your horror, there's blood on your hands too. So now you're thinking, what in the world is going on? You try to stand up, but when you do that, you can't. You look down and half your body is gone. If this were to happen, you fell victim to teke. So teke was one of my favorite Japanese stories that I heard a while back. It's about a girl that, there's different ways that the story is told depending on who tells it to you, or how you heard it on YouTube or anywhere. But one of the ones that I heard was that there was this girl. She was walking towards the train station late at night when a couple of her schoolmates found her, and they didn't like her too much. So they started bullying her, calling her names, slapping her around, which is pretty messed up, right? One girl versus a couple of her classmates that are just being bullies. So as they're doing this, slapping her, calling her names, one of the girls really doesn't like her, and she takes it way too far. So when she gets up, the bully pushes her, and when she pushed her, she fell into the train tracks. She heard the train coming, so she tried to get up, but it was too late. The train rolled right over her and cut her in half. So the kids took off because they were like, they saw what they did, and they they didn't want to, take responsibility for their actions, so they took off. And poor girl, it was the end of her. Well, they thought. She came back as a vengeful spirit, and she punishes the kids that are out late at night at the train station trying to get home. So the way she gets you is she's very fast, so you can't outrun her. But she rolls around in her hands, and that's what makes the little sound, is her hands smacking the floor. And if she catches you, she'll claw at you, and that's one way that she causes your end. Another way is that she runs around, but she has a scythe, like what the Grim Reaper has. And with this, she'll cut you in half so you could be just like her. I promise you, if my mom told me this story growing up, best believe that I'd be at home before the street lights even came on if I had to take that train, home. But yeah, so that story freaked me out because I used to be a bit of a night owl, and sometimes we'd be out in LA trying to grab the red line to come back to the valley, and I'd hear little noises that you don't know what it is. You look around, and sometimes Hollywood can get a little, on the rough side. So you would look around and you don't see nothing, and you just keep pushing. You just try to get into the train and let's go home. But I used to ride my bike around at night, and sometimes you hear weird, strange noises coming from the bushes, from the LA River, or when you're trying to jump on the Amtrak. It's a trip. But every time I would hear that when I was approaching the train station, if I heard anything that sounded weird, this story would come to mind. So I'd freak myself out a little bit, but that was all on me in my head, right? But I really enjoy this urban legend, and it's one of the ones that freaks me out, I'm not gonna lie. So with that being said, and that story being told, I want to thank everyone that has been listening and tuning in. Make sure that you like and subscribe to my channel. Once again, this is Storytelling with me, your host, Mason Val. And thank you guys for tuning in. And I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.